All right. Welcome everybody. It's time to, call my mom. So I guess I'll just, call my mom. This is a very special episode. It's a post-birthday episode. So I guess I'll go ahead and call her.
Uh, We're together.
Together. I'm on. How are you?
It's our first together podcast.
We're actually here. And we're sharing a mic.
Does it sound okay?
If it doesn't sound good, we apologize. But we had to do the best we could. We've been all over. Okay. Let's get into
Start from the beginning.
which beginning?
I'm going to control the mic because I don't know how to do this. I'm a professional person. Is that okay?
Yeah, I don't know why I was even in charge of that.
I don't even know why you were in charge of that. So our birthdays are a week apart. So let's start with your birthday. What happened for your birthday?
So she surprised me. Do I hold all this? I should hold it. Okay. Yeah, I was standing there and then I looked over and I saw our friend's daughter Ruby, and then I saw our friend Marta, and then I was like, who's that lady behind them with the boot? I was like, what the hell? And then it was you. I was like, oh, and then yeah, we had brunch. The brunch place was not good. We won't say what place that was. But yeah, it was a good surprise. I had no idea. My girlfriend and you had been communicating. So yeah, it was good. Yeah.
So was it a good surprise?
It was a good surprise. It was a good surprise. I'm realizing I'm not great with surprises because I like to be ready for stuff. Like, when when I know that you're gonna be coming somewhere, I'm like, okay, get ready. Like it's not like in a big way or anything, but I'm just like mentally prepared for it. Does that make sense?
So be honest, the real reason you don't like surprises is because you were like, oh my gosh, there's my mom and I'm hungover.
That was the reason, yeah. That was a big one. Yeah, I was very hungover because it's my birthday. And so we went out, and I didn't think I was seeing you. So I was like, all right, so we'll kind of celebrate at midnight and like party and whatever. And then, I'm going to like a brunch and a Liberty game. So I didn't think anything of it. And then you were there, and I was like, oh no. Oh, whoa. Oh, come on.
So I want to just say one cute story because this happened about, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. It was my birthday. We were living in Hermosa Beach in California. And you're like, okay, what do you want to do? It's your special day. What do you want to do? And I said, I want to go to an LA Sparks game. And you're like, WNBA game for your birthday. Like, come on, let's go do something fun. I was like, that is my happy place. That's where I want to be on my birthday. That's what I love for fun. And so we did it. And so fast forward all these years, and what did you want to do on your birthday this year?
I went to a WNBA game.
We had a great birthday. I thought you had a fun birthday. Was it fun?
It was a fun birthday. It was a fun birthday.
And then we flew out to Napa. Some of our friends have a beautiful home in Napa. And so we had an epic weekend wine tasting and having this great experience. But one really cool thing happened. So I grew up Mormon. I did not start drinking wine until my 40s. Fun fact, when I read that it helps prevent dementia. And my father had had dementia before he passed away. So, Parkinson's related dementia, and it was very challenging as he got into his older age. And so I read this article that said red wine had shown that it prevented dementia. And so I started drinking red wine in my 40s. So I didn't know a lot about it. But the first person who really introduced me to a nice wine called Caymus was Pat Summit. And so Pat Summit introduced me to Caymus, I think in 2009, just coming off her last national championship. We were having dinner at her house. Pat loved to cook. Anytime he came into town, Pat loved to cook. And so we were at Pat's house and she broke out this beautiful Caymus. And from that point forward, I've been hooked on it. Plus, it makes me think of her. So anyway, one of our good friends, Jackie Zink, set us up for a wine tasting in Napa at Caymus. And we're there, and it's a group of a lot of women in sports, a lot of the men and women in sports that love them, like just a good sports group of women. And so we're doing this tasting, and at the end of the tasting, the Camus rep gifts me a bottle of 2009 Camus because they know that that's how Pat Summit introduced me to it. And what was the crazy thing about that whole day?
It was Pat Summit's birthday. The woman who inspired you and like is one of your biggest heroes, who we've talked about on the podcast before. And it was her birthday the day that we were at Camus trying the wine that she had introduced you to, which is awesome. It was really good.
So it was just like this really cool full circle moment. And I just got chills and I started crying, of course, because I hadn't put two and two together that it was Pat's birthday. And so that was really,
You didn't know that it was her birthday right before yours?
I know that I'm close to her because I always feel like people who are really great are born in June. Janet Jackson, Pat Summit, me.
I love how Janet Jackson is the first, but I'm born in June. You went with Janet Jackson first, and it's Janet Jackson.
And my child, who's also very great.
Actually, because this is a total sidebar that does not matter. I found out, I think I share a birthday with Marty McFly. Michael J. Fox. I share a birthday with Michael J. Fox. I found that out last Sunday. Yeah.
So he's another great person born in June. So anyway, it was just a cool day, a lot of wonderful people, great wine. So thank you to the Camus folks for making that so special. And it was just a really special moment. I like to remember Pat because she meant a lot to me. So full circle. But anyways, I feel like we've crushed our birthday weeks. Like I just feel it was one of our best birthdays ever. Would you?
Yeah. I think my birthday was good. It was just a standard, like, yeah, go out, party. And like we didn't even party that much. I played Jenga with friends at a bar. But it's still great. I love that.
Okay, but let's talk about your girlfriend's present to you.
Yes. Okay. I've been obsessed with this song called Daddy Cop. Apparently I say daddy weird. I say daddy. Like I'm from Long Island. Daddy. I don't know. Whatever. Daddy Cop. It's from the TV show The Rookie. Shout out Nathan Fillion. We're huge Castle fans, so somebody send this to him. But I became obsessed with this song because I saw the episode on something, and then I was just like, "There's no way that's a real song," because it's just really catchy. And so then I went and I found it on Spotify, and then I have been playing it everywhere constantly. And my girlfriend is a trooper, and she supports the psychotic side of me that gets obsessed with songs. I do this all the time. Ocean Eyes was the last one, and Not Like Us is the most recent one. But I was just like so obsessed with it, and like the morning of my birthday, funnily enough, I put it on repeat. We were just sitting there listening to it over and over again, and I sang it as we got ready in the morning, like 4 times in a row. Yeah, so I'm a little weird. But so she, the next, I think it was Tuesday morning. So the morning of my birthday or the night of my birthday, I was tired, I was hungover. And then, hung out with you. We went to a Liberty game that was great. I saw that face. And then so she was like, "Oh, well, I guess we'll do it a different night." And then the next night we went to my buddy Will Wells he was performing at an event called Love Loud. That was really amazing. It was, happy Pride. And so then we didn't really have any times that were available anymore. And so she just told me, she was like, "Oh, I have to have this. I'm doing a string quartet on Wednesday. So Tuesday morning, can I bring them into your apartment and we just film a video real quick so that way I can send it to the client just so that they they know what they want." And I was like, "Oh, fine." And, I was tired. It'd been a long weekend. I was hungover on Sunday. And then Monday we go out and we celebrate with our friend Will. So she's like, "Oh, there's people coming over." And so I'm grumpy. And I'm just like, "Oh my God." And I literally was like, my cousin was in town as well. And I was like, "I'm just gonna take her to lunch while you do your quartet thing. You don't need me." And she's like, "No, no, no, just like wait for 1 second. We got to get this set up. Can you go grab me some waters or something?" And I was like, "Oh, fine." So I grab waters. I'm just, all curmudgeon. And then we finally like sit down and they're like getting ready to play. And I say hi to everybody. And I'm like walking to my room. They're like, "Mac, no, you got to come in here." And I was like, "Why?" "Oh God, it's ridiculous." So I come and sit down, and my beautiful, wonderful girlfriend has arranged a string quartet version of Daddy Cop. the song that I've just been obsessed with, and it's a great song, and everybody go listen to it. Xander Holly, shout out.
So she's trying to plan this lovely romantic, like she has arranged for a four-person quartet, this crazy pop song, Daddy Cop, and he's being difficult to surprise. Do you regret your grumpiness and being difficult to surprise?
Here's my thing. I think being grumpy is a part of my personality, and I'm not letting it go.
I thought it was a good birthday week. Just so grateful to have another great birthday. And I think since I have gone through cancer, stage 4, almost died, I literally had the doctor tell me, we're not sure how much time you have left. To celebrate birthdays, I used to be like, oh, I'm getting older. Rah, rah, rah. Now I'm just so grateful to be celebrating another birthday. So it was epic. Thank you to everyone who helped us celebrate our birthdays. I thought it was lovely.
So I had a thought. Well, because we just went to lunch, we walked around. We're in New York. We walked around Central Park. My brain is fried. I like have the itis. But do you know what the itis is?
What's the itis?
It's when like after you eat, you get tired.
I don't think so. I've heard of the meat sweats.
It's not a meat sweat. I did have steak. It's not a meat sweat. But no. It's yeah, like after you have a big meal, you know that feeling where you're just kind of like, oh. Anyways. But while we were at lunch, we were having a conversation, and then we've had our wine tastings, and I just kind of got stuck on this idea of like taste. I think we have very different tastes. I think it's interesting.
In what way? Like from food and drink, or style of clothing, or like taste in people, taste in music, like taste.
I think taste in not in like with random, but like a decent amount of things. So, I mean, we're not codependent, so we have our own, we have our own stuff, and like I like we were talking about movies that we like, and like you were saying, you loved the what was it?
Oh, Geek Girl. It is so cute. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. Geek Girl. It was darling.
It was yeah. It sounds interesting, but like when you were describing, it, I was like, oh, I'd never watched that. But like I was describing The Killer. It's just like I just thought that was so interesting how different our tastes are. I feel like that happens in families a lot where you don't have certain things aren't the same tastes, you know?
I think so, but I do think that families tend to have certain traditions, or activities is the right word, but like we have some friends that they go camping and they go hiking, and their whole family, parents, grandparents, extended family, they go camping and they go hiking. So their idea of a good family activity is that. Those are styles of family, I think, not particularly taste. We are not one of those families.
We're not. No. I don't think honestly, if all the lights in New York City went out right now, I think we would be dead 45-minute tops.
What?
We're not camping people. We can't survive. We can't do that stuff. Out the craziness, we can do that.
Why would you go outside? You could stay in your apartment. You could survive on what you have in your apartment. Like I do.
We don't have. There's nothing in. I mean, this is a hotel room. What are we going to survive off in here?
I have snacks. No. So we we have other skills. Why did the world have to end? We were talking about family activities. Why?
I was just being hyperbolic about how much we're not a camping family.
Right. But we have other skills. So I wouldn't say taste is exactly the same in every family, but I think things in families do rub off on you, like styles of music, types of restaurants that you love. I do think styles in families rub off.
That's perfect. That's why the word taste came to mind because I was thinking about like the movie thing. Like you love murder mysteries, and I do too. But I like a David Fincher like murder mystery, whereas you love more of like a Knives Out murder mystery. Both are great, but it's just two very different style. Like it's a different flavor. Like I know like with music, I like indie rap kind of stuff and like more experimental kind of rap or whatever, and you hate that. But the amount of times that you're just like, what are you playing? Ugh. But I learned to like that stuff from listening to R&B so early, which is what you like, and it is very influenced by R&B. So it's just that I was just thinking about like the taste thing is interesting.
Like that. I had a thought that I wanted to follow up on too today. We don't have our chaos theory things because we're in a hotel room. We haven't written down anything on paper, but I did come prepared this week because our last podcast, we hit on something that I thought was interesting called habits. And we had set a goal of making our beds, of trying a small habit to see if it changed your day or what have you. And in the meantime, since that time, I got to meet the author of Atomic Habits. So it is I think 20 million people have bought this book, Atomic Habits, and it's how to set your day up for success. And the author is a man named James Clear, who luckily enough, I just got to present into the Academic All America Hall of Fame. So every year there is, they do Academic All Americans. So for example, Caitlin Clark was the Division I Academic All American for the last 2 years. The year before that, it was Leah Boston. Then once a year, they put people into the Academic Hall of Fame. So, like many years ago, I got to award Rebecca Lobo into the Academic All America Hall of Fame. So this year's celebration was in Las Vegas, and I got to MC the event. And on stage was Andrew Luck, former Indianapolis Colts quarterback, and then this author, James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits. And he said something that was he said two things that I thought were life-changing. And full disclosure, I had already downloaded his book to read on my flight to Europe next week. And so I was like, there's no way I'm just meeting the author of this book that I just downloaded. That is so cool. But he talked about people get so caught up in like this big overarching thing. Like, let's say I want to write a movie. And so you have this big goal and you can't really grasp it. It's not really tangible or reality. And he was saying, this is a podcast, so I'm going to describe what I'm doing, but people on YouTube, you can see it. He said, put your day in a box. So I'm drawing a box with my fingers of to accomplish that big lofty thing. I have to have a smaller daily bite size. Here's what my day will look like. And if I do compile these days and stack these days on top of each other, then that will be accomplished. And he wanted you to also maximize your day to be the most joyful, productive day you can imagine. And that's where your habits, and I think he's using that word atomic, really blow up your life in this big, great, grandiose way, is because you're doing them every day.
That's that's actually what I do. Clear my throat into the mic. That's really good. That's actually perfect that you bring that up because I have somebody's. So this will be the part that you guys can see, hopefully. If not, I'm holding a bag. I lost my birthday bag that I got, my birthday gift bag that I got you. But I got you a birthday gift.
What?
So this is your birthday present.
It is a planner for next year?
It's a planner from July to next year. Open up this first page real quick. So I made sure I personalized it. I got her favorite photo and I put it on the front of that. Yes. And then, yes. Then, okay. So keep pointing at them. I mean, I left a couple of cute messages, but so we'll go to the first day that I really. So I went through and I wrote kind of like the goals and what we're working on for the month here, for a little nice little message. And then I went through each day and I put a little activity or goal or thing you can run pages a day. It doesn't have to be 10, but it's just an idea. So we do that. And so I did 3 months of that. And they all kind of changed a little bit. And then there's, other goals and stuff on there. And then after September, it's a little bit, you can choose your own adventure. And then there's another little check-in December just to make sure that you're still doing it. So that was my birthday gift. And I had to make sure I kept some scrumpets along the way so that way you stuck with it. Yes, that's why it took me a little time, but yeah.
Okay, so it is so cute. And you've written me little sweet love messages. This is for you, so please do. Oh, is it okay to read it? No? Keep it private? Read it? Ignore any spelling errors. Now, this is to help you build a simple routine that you can change however you like, as long as you do it. I love you. Oh. Now I'm crying on the podcast. Thank you, honey. That is so thoughtful. You know, it's so crazy because we were just having like, oh wow, look at this. Mom, thank you for can I read it? It's good. Mom, thank you for making me competitive. Now it's time I teach you. Be competitive with yourself. Beat everything you did last month. I love you. Oh my gosh, this is so great. This is the second month, so now you should feel like it's getting easier. That means double down and follow it even more. 20-minute walk, write 10 pages, meditate, 30-minute workout.
And then I know you work a lot on the weekend, and that's why I didn't do October is because of work. But yeah,
Wow, that might be the most thoughtful gift you've ever given me, son. That is incredible. And this is my favorite picture of us. How sweet that is. Wow, I'm blown away. This might be the best present you've ever given me outside of the full Sound of Music 50-year anniversary Blu-ray.
that one's still the best. This one's fine. The Blu-ray was 1B. Okay, 1B.
I love it. Oh, happy birthday, honey. You know, I travel all the time. I'm in and out of hotel. I'm still emotional, can you tell? I'm in and out of hotel rooms all the time. And so the thing I have really struggled with, I would say, in my life is daily habits because my days are never the same. You know, people that wake up at the same and so that's kind of what I've been really struggling with. So that book, Atomic Habits, was so attractive to me and meeting that author and hearing him say that. And then you not knowing any of that, following up with this to help me get those habits built daily, I think is really thoughtful and awesome. I have been since our last podcast making my bed every day since we talked about. Have you?
I have. I stopped last because we did that podcast the week before, and so I was taking pictures of my bed, and then last week was like my birthday week, and I was busy, and so I wasn't making my bed. I also wasn't staying at my house as much. So and I stopped taking pictures. But we're yeah we're getting there.
What I want to follow up on, and I'm curious about, is does it make you feel better when you come home to a made bed? It's kind of about like the feeling that it builds within you when you are on top of your daily habit.
It is not. So I had made my bed before we went to Napa, and I like had I washed all my sheets and made my bed before I left to go to Napa for the weekend. So that was really nice to come home to like a completely clean room that I could just mess up with all my dirty clothes. But like having a blank canvas was huge. I think that's the idea of like in acting, we always got taught when you're in somebody's space, you're in how their brain works. So, like any play that you watch or any movie you watch, when you go into a character's house, the way that their house is decorated and set up is the way their brain works, which I think is just a natural, real thing. It's really just good for script analysis, but like I've always really took that to like whatever your space is, that's how that represents your interior life because it's there's outside room, right? And that's where you're living, and you kind of manifest your interior life into your exterior. So if you have a clean, like a blank canvas room, you have somewhere to go. Your mind's not just full of. That means you're anti-cluttering. You're just blowing off the dust bunnies in your brain. So that was the biggest thing I realized. I was thinking about that a lot on Monday. Yeah.
I like that. And I think it's also I don't know that I have an orderly brain. I think I'm super creative and I'll have a thought and I'm like, oh, I got to work on this for my game. And this will be a great story idea. I think my strength is creativity in my work. And so one thing I've noticed is, especially the older I get, order in my house is essential because my brain, I wouldn't say is necessarily orderly. So I like it when my space is. So I do think you're onto something of like, yes, your space is a glimpse into you and your personality. But I also think as I've gotten older, we used to have like I like decorating houses and we used to have very, I don't want to say clutter, but I would say a lot of decor house in our house. You know, one time I wanted it to be Parisian, old Hollywood meets Paris 1940s. You know, it was like black and white granite and marble tile floors with velvet furniture and silver rivets and uh, purple feather pillow. You know, it was very like old Hollywood meets Paris. But it was busy and it was a lot. And so now I think my style has gone more towards simple straight lines, a little more what mid-century. Part of it's because the house we bought's a little more, those are the lines of the house, but more simple. I'm decluttering the older I get because I think it helps my brain.
Yeah. I think the aesthetic I want for my future home would be something along the lines of the Incredibles movies. Hear me out. Because they're like futuristic, but with this 70s, 60s like angle. Uh, it's like that kind of like I don't know what you call it, like that Tomorrowland, like that like the looking into the future, like the 60s version of what the future would be and stuff like that. So they kind of their version of futuristic I find very interesting because it's still like nice wool and like soft and colorful, but it has like the hard lines, kind of like that new, almost like brutalist stuff that we do today. So I like that mixture. Does that make sense?
Did you ever watch the Jetsons?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly.
I didn't know if you'd watched that cartoon growing up.
Yeah, because I like that futuristic feel, but then I like there being color and stuff as opposed to just being like the stark, the whites and the beiges and
Right.
blacks. I like and so
Right.
and like silver,
Like
yeah.
contemporary modern, but with some texture.
Just a little texture, a little pop of color. I don't know why we're talking about this for so long, but
Before we go, my last chaos theory thing that I wanted to bring up, because I think this is something we do this a ton. I don't know if other families do this a ton or parents, but I think our love language in many ways are gifts and memes. So I don't know, 2 or 3 times a day, I'm sending you gifts on Instagram or like memes on Instagram, like that's kind of our love language is humor. And I actually found out that there is a term for this that is based in science. So I wanted to share that with you today. Is that okay? Sending memes, links, and videos to others isn't trivial. It signals that you're thinking of them and want them to share your joy. It's known as pebbling, based on penguins gifting pebbles to potential partners. Pebbling is an act of care. Every pebble is a bid for connection. Let's see, Adam Grant tweeted that out. And I just learned that. I think it's such an interesting concept because I do think I stay connected with a lot of people that way, and it's an actual thing in nature.
we're penguins. But yeah, deep down we're penguins. But that does mean that I have to sit on an egg for the winter. I got lost in the penguins thing. Pebbling though is I agree. I agree. The pebbling thing is how I stay connected with most of my friends, if not all of my friends. My top that those top 3 rows of people on my Instagram are pretty much the people I talk to the most outright.
And that's kind of like, haha. But I thought that was a fun way to say it is that you're thinking of them and you want them to share your joy of like kind of spreading that joy and sharing that joy every day.
Yeah.
Like, this gave me a good belly laugh. I want you to have one too.
That does it makes I think that's a big thing of why I share, especially when I get obsessed with something. I will share. I'm like, this makes me so happy. You come on, and I get very like, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. And sometimes it's annoying. But what can you do? It's for pebbling, little acts of sharing, little acts of joy.
Well, before we wrap up, I just want to say thank you. I don't want to cry again. Here, I'm going to cry again. Thank you for my daily planner. That is one of the most thoughtful birthday gifts ever. I feel like we had an epic birthday week. I'm so glad you were born. You have been one of the great joys of my life, if not the greatest joy in my life. So thank you for being in this world, letting me be your mom. And thank you for that incredible gift. I'm going to improve my habits. Something we're going to keep talking about because I want us to hold each other accountable. We're in my hotel room right now and my bed is made. You didn't notice.
Well, somebody is probably making minimum wage to do that, so they have. That's good for them. That's good. They did a great job. You did not make this. Your do not disturb sign's not even on. You did not make this.
I made my bed this morning. They just came in and made it better.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I made my bed last night, but then somebody came in. Oh no. This bed was made before I slept in it. Like, what are you talking about? They made the bed.
But I did leave my hotel room this morning with my bed made. They have just come in and made it better, tighter.
Hey, you know what? This is important. Kids out there, parents lie. Uh, all right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. We're wrapping it up. I love you, mom. Thank you for being my mom. So lucky. Um, yeah, call your mom.